Nia Carter was 19 when he took the easiest job in the world. Grocery deliveries, quick cash, no drama, until the dispatcher sent him 2 blocks the wrong way. In this city, 2 blocks wasn't oops. It was a death sentence. "Yo," a man barked. "Who told you to roll through here?" Isaiah froze beside his cart, blinking like this had to be a misunderstanding. "Nobody. I'm just delivering to—" He didn't finish. The man, Cruz, smiled like he'd been waiting for a reason. "Wrong answer." Isaiah hit the ground. The cart tipped. Groceries spilled across the street like somebody dumped his whole life out on the pavement. Cruz stepped over him, loud enough for everyone to hear. "This is Black Lotus territory. You don't come through here unless you're invited." A crowd formed. Nobody moved. Nobody helped. Because in this neighborhood, helping is how you disappear. 3 blocks away, Nia Carter was locking her salon when her phone rang. "Nia," a neighbor's voice cracked. "It's Isaiah, 7th and Monroe. Please, hurry." Nia didn't think. She ran. When she got there, Isaiah was down, not getting up, and Cruz was standing over him like the street belonged to him. "Stop!" Nia shouted, pushing into the circle like fear didn't exist. She dropped to Isaiah, shielding him with her body. "He's 19, she pleaded. "He didn't know." Cruz grabbed her by the hair. "And who are you supposed to be?" "His sister." Cruz's smile widened. "Mistakes have consequences." His hand closed at her throat, tight, controlling, until the world narrowed to one thought. Isaiah can't lose her, and she can't lose him. Then, screech! 6 black SUVs swung onto the block like a verdict. Doors opened. Men stepped out in perfect sync. The crowd backed up without anyone saying a word. Even Cruz lowered his hand, because the man who stepped out of the lead vehicle didn't walk like a person, walked like a decision. Kang Min-Jae. He didn't rush, he didn't shout. He just stared at Cruz and asked quietly, "Who authorized this?" Cruz tried to laugh, tried to explain. Minjay didn't let him finish. 1 second later, Cruz was on his knees, shaking, and Minjay was looking down at him like he was already gone. When it was over, Minjay didn't turn to the crowd. He turned to Nia. She was still crouched over Isaiah, blood on her face, fury in her eyes. Minjay knelt beside her like the street wasn't dirty enough to matter. "Are you hurt?" he asked. Nia stared at him, breathing hard. "Who are you?" His voice stayed calm, like a warning wrapped in velvet. "Kang Min-Jae. And from this moment on, nobody touches you again." Nia swallowed. "I didn't ask for that." Minjay's eyes didn't blink. "You don't have to." And the scariest part? He wasn't looking at her like a stranger he rescued. He was looking at her like someone he already knew. Before we go deeper, comment where you're watching from, because I need to know who else would have run into that street for their brother. And if you want more Afro-Korean Mafia romance stories with real tension, hit subscribe, because this one gets dangerous fast. 8 months earlier, Nia Carter didn't get lucky. She got tired. She built Carter's crown and glory with early mornings, long days, and a stubborn refusal to let life break her. She raised Isaiah like a promise she never abandoned. So when a convoy of black SUVs blocked her street one afternoon, Nia didn't melt like everyone else. Kang Min-Jae walked into her salon like he owned the air. "Haircut," he said. Nia pointed to the chair. $35. Minjay placed a stack of cash on her counter like it was nothing. "Keep the change." The room went silent. Nia counted out $35, put it in the register, and pushed the rest back to him. "I'm not for sale. Sit down or get out, and you're blocking my customers." His men twitched like they wanted permission to react, but Minjay just stared at her in the mirror, like she'd done something impossible. He sat. He paid like a normal customer, and he left. 2 weeks later, he came back, and again, Not with threats, not with pressure, just that same unreadable gaze, like he was trying to understand why she didn't fear him. Nia refused him every time he tried to turn it personal. Dinner? No. Business talk? No. Anything beyond the chair? No. Because Nia didn't want power. She wanted peace. She didn't know that every refusal made her more dangerous to his self-control. And when the call came in, a lieutenant is hurting civilians. Minjay's next question wasn't about territory. It was one sentence, sharp with panic. Which girl? 3 hours after 7th and Monroe, the hospital smelled like money and antiseptic. Isaiah lay sedated, bruised and still, while Nia sat beside him with her fingers locked around his hand like she could hold him to the earth. The door opened without a knock. Nia's spine stiffened. Minjay stepped in, new clothes, controlled face. 2 coffees like this was normal. "You shouldn't be here," Nia said. Minjay set the cup down gently. "You haven't slept." "How would you know?" He looked at her like the question itself was innocent. "Because I pay attention." Nia's stomach turned. "That's not comforting." "I didn't come to comfort you." He pulled up a chair. "I came to make sure you understand something." Nia's jaw tightened. "That you can kill people whenever you want." Minjay didn't flinch. "That I don't allow chaos around what I protect." "What you protect," she repeated bitterly. "Yes." Isaiah shifted in the bed, a soft sound of pain escaping him. Nia stood instantly, hand gripping his. "I'm here, baby, I'm here." Isaiah's eyes opened slowly, then found Minjay. You're the one." Minjay stepped closer, calm. "I am." Isaiah swallowed. "Why?" Minjay answered too fast, like he'd already said it in his head 100 times. "Because from now on, nobody touches your sister again." Nia snapped. "Stop saying it like I agreed." Isaiah's voice cut through her. "Nia, did he save us?" Nia's throat tightened. "Yes." Isaiah looked back at Minjay, weaker but clear. "So what do you want?" Minjay's eyes flicked to Nia, then back to Isaiah. "I want you alive. Both of you." "That's not an answer," Nia said. Minjay's voice lowered. "It's the only one you get tonight. You can hate me tomorrow." Isaiah stared at him. "Can you really keep us safe?" "Yes." "From everyone?" Minjay didn't hesitate. "From everyone." Nia's breath caught. She wanted to say no. She wanted to run. But the truth sat in her chest like a stone. They didn't have many options. Minjay looked at her like he heard that thought. 5 minutes, he said quietly. "Walk with me." Nia hesitated, then followed him into the hallway. "You're angry," Minjay said. "I'm scared," Nia corrected. "There's a difference." He nodded once. "Of me." "Of everything, or so of me," she said. "My brother nearly died. I watched you end someone like it was nothing, and now you're acting like we're yours." "I don't expect you to trust me," Minjay said. "Good, because I don't." He stepped closer, not threatening, just present. "Then listen without trusting." Nia held his gaze. "Talk." Minjay exhaled slow, like choosing honesty cost him something. 8 months ago, you did something no one has done to me in years. Annoy you? A flicker, almost a smile. Refuse me. Nia's skin prickled. He continued, calm. Most people either fear me or try to use me. You treated me like a man who was blocking your door. Because you were. And I couldn't forget it. His eyes darkened. So I started paying attention. Nia's heart thudded. Paying attention how? Minjay paused, then said one sentence that landed like a stone. "I know your brother's bus schedule." Nia went still. "That's not normal." "No," he agreed quietly. "It's not." She swallowed hard. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I'm not going to lie to you," he said. "And because if you stay under my protection, you deserve to know the truth about the kind of man standing in front of you." Nia's voice came out smaller than she wanted. And what kind is that? Minjay's answer was careful. A man who doesn't know how to want something halfway. Silence. Then he added, softer, and a man who has enemies, real ones. Nia narrowed her eyes. So protection comes with a target on my back. Minjay didn't deny it. He just said, it comes with me. And Nia realized something terrifying. This wasn't a rescue. It was a door opening. 3 days later, she returned to her salon because life didn't pause just because fear moved in. She unlocked the door before sunrise and froze. Flowers. Not a normal bouquet. Not a sweet little arrangement. An entire room transformed. Expensive vases, rare blooms, color everywhere like someone tried to rewrite her reality overnight. A note sat in the biggest one. For someone who deserves beautiful things, MJ. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She still knew. Hello? Did you get the flowers? Minjay asked, voice warm like he was smiling. You can't just... Did you like them? Nia stared at the salon, at the beauty, at the impossible effort. Yes, she admitted. They're beautiful. Good, he said, satisfied. That's all I wanted. She tried to refuse, tried to argue. He hung up before she could win. The flowers didn't come every day after that. He adjusted. Smaller arrangements, thoughtful ones. And then Nia noticed the other things. The broken streetlight outside her building that had been dead for years, fixed overnight. The potholes on her block the city ignored forever, suddenly smoothed out. Isaiah's tuition problem? Gone. It should have made her furious. Instead, it made her tired in a different way, tired of carrying everything alone. But then she noticed something else. A car across the street from her salon, not from the neighborhood, parked too neatly, same spot, 2 days in a row. Her phone buzzed again. A text from Minjay. Don't walk home alone tonight. Nia's fingers went cold. She typed, why? His reply came instantly. Because someone just realized you matter to me. Nia stared at the message until the screen dimmed. And for the first time since 7th and Monroe, she understood the real shape of fear. Not the fear of being broke, not the fear of being tired, the fear of being wanted by the most dangerous man in the city. Nia changed her outfit 3 times. The black dress felt too formal. The jeans felt too casual. The sundress felt too... like she cared too much. She finally chose a burgundy wrap dress and heels she could actually walk in. She stared at herself in the mirror and exhaled. This wasn't a normal date. This was dinner with a man whose name made the city go quiet. A man who could end a life with the same calm voice he used to say, "Good evening." Isaiah watched from the couch with that younger brother look that always felt like judgment and comedy at the same time. You look nice. Don't start. I'm not starting. I'm just asking. Are you sure? Nia's smile faded. No, I'm not sure about anything. Isaiah studied her. Then why go? Nia swallowed. Because he saved you. Because he kept his word. And because... She hesitated. Isaiah softened. Because you want to know what he is when he's not terrifying. Nia gave him a look. Don't psychoanalyze me. Isaiah shrugged. I learned from the best. The intercom buzzed right on time. Miss Carter, your car is here. Nia's stomach flipped. She grabbed her clutch, then paused at the door when Isaiah said her name. Nia. She looked back. If he ever hurts you. Isaiah's voice got low. I don't care how powerful he is. I'll find a way. Nia walked back and kissed his forehead. I know you will. Susan's here. Door's locked. I'll be back before 11. Isaiah held her gaze. You deserve to be taken care of for once. That line hit her harder than the fear did. The car waiting outside wasn't a convoy, just a black Mercedes sedan. Quiet, polished, normal looking. If normal could smell like expensive leather and calm control, The driver opened her door. "Good evening, Ms. Carter. Mr. Kang is expecting you." 15 minutes later, the city climbed into the hills. Solstice, the kind of restaurant people bragged about getting into. A private elevator, a code, glass walls rising above the skyline. And when the doors opened, Minjay was already there, not sitting, not showing off, just waiting at the railing like he'd been standing there longer than he wanted to admit. He turned, and the look on his face wasn't cold. It was stunned, like she'd done something to him just by showing up. "Nia," he said softly. Her voice came out smaller than she meant. "Hi." He approached slower than usual, like sudden movement might scare her away. "You look." He stopped, then exhaled once, almost frustrated with himself. "I don't have the right words." Nia forced a little breathy laugh. "That's new." A small smile touched his mouth. "Thank you for coming. I wasn't sure you would." "I wasn't sure either." Minjay pulled out her chair like a gentleman who didn't belong in the life he lived. They sat. The first course arrived. The city glittered below them, like it had no idea what kind of man was sitting up here. Nia set her fork down. "I have questions." Minjay's eyes didn't blink. "Ask." Nia's voice steadied. "Are you going to bring your violence into my life again?" Minjay's jaw tightened once. "I don't want to, but my world isn't clean. What I can promise is this: if danger comes near you, it won't reach you. Will you lie to me? Never. Will you ever hurt Isaiah?" Minjay didn't hesitate. "I'd die first." Nia studied him. "Why me? And don't give me poetry." He swirled his wine once, like he was choosing honesty the way other men chose weapons. "Because you didn't treat me like a crown," he said quietly. "You treated me like a man blocking your door." Nia blinked. "That's it?" Minjay leaned forward, voice low. "That was the first time in a long time I felt human." Silence stretched. Then he added, softer, like a confession he didn't want to say, out loud. "And I've been trying to feel that again ever since." Nia's throat tightened. "That's not normal." "No," he agreed. "It's not." He reached halfway across the table, then stopped, asking without words. Nia placed her hand in his. Minjay's thumb brushed her knuckles like it mattered. "I don't want a puppet," he said. "I don't want to control what you wear or who you speak to. I want you exactly as you are." Nia held his gaze. "And what if I walk away after tonight?" Pain flashed across his face so quickly most people wouldn't notice it. "Then I let you," he said, "and I keep you safe anyway." That answer did something to her. Not comfort, not relief, something worse. Hope. By the time coffee arrived, it was almost 11. Nia stood. "I promised Isaiah." Minjay stood instantly. "Of course." At the elevator, the city wind hummed around the glass. Nia hesitated. "I had a good time." Minjay's expression softened, like he'd been holding his breath all night. "So did I." He stepped closer, but not too close. "Can I see you again?" he asked. Nia lifted a brow. "You already show up at my salon." "That's not what I mean." Nia's heartbeat kicked. She should say no. Instead, she heard herself say, "Next Friday." Minjay's eyes flared. Heat, relief, hunger, control barely holding. "I'll take it," he said quietly. Then he didn't kiss her mouth. He kissed her forehead, gentle, careful, almost reverent, like he was trying to prove something. When the elevator doors closed, Nia leaned back against the wall, smiling like she hated herself for it. "What am I doing?" she whispered, and her phone buzzed before she even hit the ground floor. A text from Minjay. "Get home safe. I'm watching the street." Nia's smile vanished, because she didn't know if that was sweet or terrifying. The next 2 weeks moved fast, not in big gestures, in small ones that made her resistance crack without her noticing. Monday morning, her favorite bodega coffee waiting at her station, still hot. A note, because fancy isn't always better. Wednesday, a professional chair delivered to save her back. A note, not a gift, an investment. Friday, Isaiah came home grinning. They offered me a paid position at school. Nia didn't ask who made it happen. Then the cameras appeared outside the salon. Nia called immediately. You can't install surveillance without asking. Minjay texted back, if I asked, you'd say no. Nia stared at the screen. Then another message arrived, and someone has been asking about you. Her stomach dropped. She typed, who? Minjay replied, not my people. Friday came too fast, this time when the car arrived. Minjay was inside. He stepped out when he saw her, eyes dragging over her like he forgot how to breathe. You're trying to kill me, he said quietly. Nia rolled her eyes to hide how hot her cheeks felt. Hi to you too. He offered his arm. Hi. They drove out of the city to a modern house on a hill. My home, Minjay said. Nia slowed. Minjay. He met her eyes. Chef, housekeeper, security on the grounds. I'm not bringing you here to trap you. I'm bringing you here to show you what I am when no one's watching. Inside, the house didn't feel like a villain's lair. It felt lived in. Books, art, a piano in the corner. Nia pointed. You play? Minjay's gaze softened. When I can't sleep. Play for me. He sat, and the music was quiet and haunting and almost too human for a man like him. Nia sat beside him, listening like her body forgot how to guard itself. When the song ended, Minjay turned to her. I've wanted to kiss you, he admitted, but I won't if you don't want it. Nia's heart hammered. Then don't stop. He kissed her slowly, like he was asking permission with every second, and for a moment, Nia forgot the streets, the danger, the rules. Then Minjay's phone buzzed. He checked the screen once, and the warmth on his face disappeared. What is it? Nia asked. Minjay stood up too fast. We're leaving. Nia's chest tightened. Why? Minjay's voice turned lethal calm, because someone just made a move. Tuesday. Nia was closing the salon late when the street went too quiet. Not peaceful. Wrong. She turned toward her car and saw them, 3 men, covered faces, moving like they already decided the ending. Nia Carter, one of them called. Her blood iced over. She reached for her keys, then for her phone. A hand grabbed her arm. Nia fought on instinct, twisting hard. But another grip caught her hair and yanked. Her breath punched out. A voice near her ear, low and angry. Make this easy. And then a sharp sound cracked the night. Not loud chaos, just one sudden terrifying snap that made the man holding her stumble back. The next second, headlights flooded the street. A black SUV stopped like it had been waiting for this exact moment. Minjay was out before it fully parked. No suit jacket, no smile, no restraint. His eyes found Nia, and something in his face broke, fear and rage colliding into one expression she'd never seen before. He reached her in seconds, pulling her against him like he was checking she still existed. Are you hurt? His voice shook once, then steadied. Did they touch you? Nia's breath came out in a broken rush. I'm okay. Minjay's men moved fast, chasing the shadows into the dark. Minjay didn't look away from her. They knew my name, Nia said, trembling. They said their boss wanted a conversation. Minjay's face turned to stone. Los Serpientes, he said. Nia blinked. Who? A rival cartel. His jaw clenched. And they're using you to send me a message. The fear in his voice was controlled, but real. Sirens sounded in the distance. One of his men stepped close. Boss, police in 2 minutes. Minjay didn't hesitate. He took Nia's hand. We're moving. Nia's voice cracked. This is what I was afraid of. Minjay looked at her, eyes feral with promise. I know, he said, and I'm going to make sure it never happens again. Nia swallowed. You're going to start a war. Minjay's smile was cold. No, he said softly. I'm going to end one. The Safehouse wasn't a house. It was a penthouse in the financial district. 23 floors up, cameras everywhere, security in the lobby like the building was a private government facility. Minjay's men swept the place before the door even clicked shut behind them. Nia stood in the middle of the living room, modern, sterile, too clean, and the adrenaline finally ran out. Her hands started shaking, then her knees. Minjay caught her before she could pretend she was fine. Sit, he said, guiding her down to the couch. Before you fall. He disappeared into the kitchen and came back with water and a blanket, wrapped it around her shoulders like he was trying to put the world back together with fabric. Pressed the glass into her hands. Drink. She obeyed, numb. Isaiah, Nia's voice cracked. Already moving, Minjay said. My team picked him up 10 minutes ago. He's safe. You can't just... I can. His voice didn't rise. It didn't have to. And I did. Minjay knelt in front of her, hands steady on her knees like an anchor. Nia, listen. They didn't guess tonight. They knew. Your name, your routine, your brother, your building. Her stomach dropped. They were going to take you, Minjay continued, calm in the way that meant violence was living behind his eyes. Not because they wanted you, because they wanted me. Nia swallowed. So what now? We hide here forever? No. Minjay's voice went colder. 3 days. You stay here 3 days. And you? His eyes went flat. I handle it. Nia's chest tightened. Handle it how? Minjay didn't answer immediately. He just stared at the floor like he was choosing between two versions of himself. Then he said softly, however I need to. That tone made her look at him properly. The warmth from dinner, the tenderness from the piano. Gone. This was the man the city feared. The door opened. Isaiah rushed in, Susan close behind him, 2 security men moving like shadows. Nia! Nia stood so fast she almost fell again. She pulled Isaiah into her arms like she could absorb his fear. I'm okay, she whispered. I'm okay. Isaiah's voice shook. They just showed up and told me we had to leave right now. Minjay stepped forward. A rival cartel tried to take your sister tonight. Isaiah went pale. His eyes flew to Nia's face. Did they hurt you? No. Nia forced her voice. Steady. They didn't get that far. Isaiah looked at Minjay, expression tangled. Gratitude, fear, anger, respect, all at once. Thank you, Isaiah said quietly. For keeping her safe. Minjay nodded once. Always. Then Minjay's phone buzzed. He glanced down, and something shifted, like the calm cracked. I have to go, he said. My team stays here. No one gets near you. Nia stood, stepping into his path. Minjay, wait. He paused, turned back. Nia's voice dropped. Don't do something you can't come back from. Minjay's gaze held hers, exhausted and dangerous at the same time. I crossed that line a long time ago, he said quietly, but I'll cross it again if it keeps you breathing. He cupped her face, kissed her forehead, quick, final, like a promise stamped onto her skin. Don't leave, he said, not for any reason. Then he was gone, and for the first time Nia realized something terrifying. She wasn't just scared of the cartel. She was scared of what Minjay might become, because of her. 3 days passed. Minjay didn't call, no texts, no updates, nothing. His men rotated shifts in the penthouse like a clock, polite, professional, silent. Nia tried to work remotely, tried to answer salon calls, tried to pretend her life still existed outside these bulletproof windows. But every time her phone screen lit up, her heart jumped. And every time it wasn't him, she felt sick. On the third morning, Isaiah finally said it. "You're not scared of being here," he murmured. "You're scared of what he's doing out there." Nia stared at the sunrise, throat tight. "I didn't mean for this." Isaiah's voice softened. "Love doesn't ask permission." Nia flinched. "Don't say that." Isaiah turned toward her. "Nia, you care, and it's real, and that's why you're falling apart." Before she could answer, the door opened. Marcus, mid-40s, military, posture, stepped in. "Ms. Carter, Mr. Kang is on his way. He wants you ready. He's taking you somewhere." "Where?" Nia asked. Marcus hesitated. "He said you needed to see it." An hour later, Minjay walked in. He looked exhausted. Suit rumpled, tie loose, shadows under his eyes. Alive. Nia stood so fast she got dizzy. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine. Where have you been?" Minjay didn't argue. He didn't comfort. He just said, "Come with me." They drove in silence. His hand held hers, but his mind was somewhere else, cold, calculating, far away. "Minjay," she whispered, "talk to me." "Not yet," he said. "Why?" "Because words won't be enough. You need to see." They stopped at a plain industrial building. Inside was a room full of screens, maps, photos, files, more planning than Nia had ever seen in her life. A war room. Minjay gestured to a chair. Then he faced her. "They tried to take you," he said evenly. "That wasn't random. It was part of something bigger." He tapped a screen. Images, names, lines connecting people like a spider web. "I didn't go after them the way I wanted to," Minjay said quietly. Nia's throat tightened. "Then how did you go after them?" Minjay's eyes met hers. "I dismantled them." He showed her proof. Not a long lecture, not a list, just enough to make it real. Frozen money, seized shipments, arrest warrants, confessions. "They're not coming back," he said. "Not tomorrow, not next month, not ever." Nia stared at him. "You did all this." Minjay stepped closer, voice softer. "Because you asked me not to become someone you couldn't live with." His hands found hers. "And because you make me want to have control when I'm angry." Nia's eyes burned. "I thought you were out there losing yourself." "I almost did." His honesty hit like a punch. "For a moment, I wanted to burn everything." "What stopped you?" Minjay didn't look away. "You." Nia pulled him up and kissed him, hard, shaking, grateful. When they broke apart, she breathed against his mouth. "I'm here. I'm still here." Minjay's forehead rested against hers. "Good." Then his phone buzzed. He checked the screen. His face changed instantly, hard, sharp, urgent. Nia's breath caught. "What is it?" Minjay straightened. "They had one more move," he said, "and they just played it." The drive back felt too fast and too slow at the same time. Minjay was on the phone the entire way, voice low, lethal, calm. "Find him, now. Check every camera. Lock every exit." Nia's hands shook in her lap. "Minjay," she said, voice breaking. "What happened?" He turned to her, and she knew before he spoke, because devastation looks the same on every powerful man. "Isaiah's gone," Minjay said. Nia's stomach dropped through the floor. "No." Her voice came out tiny. "No, no, no." 20 minutes ago," Minjay said. "They used a gap, a distraction. They took him." Nia stopped breathing. He handed her his phone. A video was ready to play. Isaiah sat tied to a chair, bruised but alive. A masked man behind him spoke calmly into the camera. "Kang Min-Jae, you thought you won." The man tilted Isaiah's head up. "You have 24 hours. Walk away, or you'll regret it." The video cut. Nia's world blurred. "We have to do what they say," she choked. "We have to." Minjay grabbed her hands, voice cracking for the first time. "If I give them what they want," he said, raw and certain, "they won't stop. They'll take more, and then they'll take you. Tears fell down Nia's face. Then how does this end? Minjay's eyes went cold. Not angry cold. Decision cold. It ends with me bringing him home, he said, and making sure nobody tries this again. He made a call, short and sharp. Team, now. I want every location they've touched. And get Carlos Reyes on the phone. He hung up and turned to Nia. I need you to trust me, he said quietly. Can you? Nia was shaking so hard her teeth clicked, but she looked into his eyes and saw something worse than violence, certainty. What do you need me to do? She whispered. Stay here, Minjay said, and believe me when I tell you, Isaiah is coming back alive. Nia grabbed his face. Promise me. Minjay cupped her cheeks, eyes burning. On everything I am, he said. On everything we could be, I'm bringing him back alive. He kissed her, hard, desperate. I love you. Nia didn't think. I love you too. Now go get my brother. Minjay's gaze flared. Heat, relief, hunger, all at once. Then he turned to his second-in-command, Jin. Guard them, Minjay said. No one gets near this room. Jin nodded once. Yes, boss. Minjay looked back at Nia one last time. I'm coming back, he said, with Isaiah. And he left. The penthouse felt too quiet. Nia paced until her feet hurt. She couldn't sit, couldn't eat, couldn't stop replaying Isaiah's face on that video. This is my fault, she whispered. Jin's voice came from the door. It's not. Nia snapped her head toward him. If they weren't greedy and stupid, Jin said calmly, your brother would be asleep right now. This isn't your burden. It's theirs. Nia swallowed. What is Minjay doing? Jin hesitated. Then he answered the truth in the least comforting way possible. He's doing what he's best at, Jin said. Which is? Jin's eyes didn't blink, making sure threats don't repeat themselves. Time crawled. Then her phone rang. Minjay. She grabbed it so fast she nearly dropped it. Hello? I found him, Minjay said. Nia nearly collapsed. Is he alive? Minjay said. Scared, but alive. I'm bringing him now. Nia sobbed silently into her hand. 19 minutes, Minjay added. Don't open the door for anyone but me. The call ended. Nia stood frozen, phone pressed to her chest, tears pouring down her face. Exactly 19 minutes later, the door opened. Isaiah stumbled in, bruised, shaking, alive. Nia. She caught him in her arms, searching his face like she needed proof he was real. I'm okay, Isaiah whispered. I'm okay. Then he looked past her. Minjay stood in the doorway. His shirt was marked with blood. Not his. His face was exhausted and satisfied in a way that scared her. Nia's voice came out barely audible. Minjay. Minjay stepped inside. I got him, he said simply. Nia stared at the blood, then at his eyes. What did it cost? She whispered. Minjay's smile was quiet, sad. Nothing I wasn't willing to pay. Isaiah's voice trembled as he spoke, staring at Minjay like he'd just seen the real monster behind the myth. He walked in like they couldn't stop him, Isaiah said, like fear didn't work on him. Minjay's gaze flicked to Isaiah. You're safe, Minjay said. That's what matters. Nia looked between them, her brother alive, her life shattered into something new, dangerous, but held, protected, loved. And she realized the truth she'd been running from since 7th and Monroe. Minjay wasn't just in her life. He was the wall between her and everything that wanted to break her. And she didn't know if that was salvation or the beginning of something she wouldn't survive unchanged. Nia returned to her salon on Friday, 5 days after the kidnapping, 3 days after Isaiah came home. The street looked the same, but the air didn't. She unlocked the door at 5:30 a.m., flipped on the lights, and froze. Someone was sitting in her chair. Minjay, suit on, freshly shaved, no blood, no visible damage, just exhaustion, deep, carved, the kind that comes from not sleeping because your brain refuses to stop. "You're here early," Nia said softly. Minjay looked up, and his eyes were red around the edges. "I never left." Nia's chest tightened. "What?" "I've been here every night," he said, checking every lock, every camera, every angle, making sure nothing waits for you. He stood, and she finally saw it. Not the boss, not the monster. A man barely holding himself together. "Minjay," she whispered, "you need sleep." "I will," he said, "when I know you're okay." Nia crossed the room and cupped his face. "I'm okay," she said firmly. "Isaiah is okay. We're here. You brought him home." Minjay's arms wrapped around her waist like he was afraid she would vanish. He buried his face against her neck, and she felt his breath shake. "When I saw that video," he whispered, voice raw, "I didn't know fear could feel like that." "You didn't lose us," Nia said. Minjay pulled back, eyes dark. "Only because I did what you were afraid I'd do." Nia held his gaze. "You did what you had to do to save my brother." His jaw clenched. "I still crossed a line." "I know," she said, "and I'm not pretending it doesn't scare me." She swallowed. "But I'm not pretending I don't choose you either." Minjay went still. Nia's voice softened. "Not because you're powerful, not because you protected us." "Then why?" he asked quietly. "Because even with all that darkness in you, you still came back to my salon and sat in my chair like you wanted to be human again." Something in his expression cracked, relief and disbelief at once. "You're sure?" he asked. Nia exhaled. "I'm terrified, but yes." Minjay kissed her like he was starving for permission to breathe. When they broke apart, his forehead stayed against hers. "I have something to show you," he murmured. Nia blinked. "What?" "Come with me," he said. "Please." Minjay drove her to the house on the hill. The garage door lifted, and Nia stopped so fast she almost tripped. Her old Honda was gone. In its place, a brand new Toyota. Not flashy, not loud, just safe, reliable, practical. "Minjay, your brakes were done," he said simply. "I'm not letting you drive a risk. You can't just—" "I can," he said, meeting her eyes. "And I did." Nia stared at the car, then back at him. Part of her wanted to fight, but a bigger part of her, tired, honest, recognized the truth. He wasn't buying her. He was trying to keep her alive. "Thank you," she said quietly. Minjay's voice softened. "Always." Inside, the house felt different too, warmer. On the wall, a photo of his mother at a piano, and then Nia's breath caught. Because there were new photos, not staged, real. Nia laughing at the salon, Isaiah walking into school, a blurred candid of the three, of them together outside the hospital. "When did you—" Nia began. "I wanted to see what it could look like," Minjay admitted. His voice was low, almost embarrassed. "A home, a family, something normal." Nia swallowed hard. "Minjay." He led her to the terrace. String lights, a table for two, and on the table, a small velvet box. Nia froze. Minjay took her hands, and for the first time in a long time, his hand shook. "Before you say anything," he said, "let me get this out while I still can." Nia's eyes burned. "Okay." Minjay inhaled once. "I'm not a clean man," he said, "and I'm not going to lie and pretend I am." He looked down, then back up. "But the moment you entered my life, something changed. Not because you fixed me, because you didn't." A small, shaky exhale. "You just looked at me and expected me to act like a human being." Minjay picked up the box and opened it. A ring. Simple, elegant, not showy. "I'm not asking you to save me," he said. "I'm asking you to choose me anyway, with your eyes open." He dropped to one knee. Nia Carter. Will you marry me? Nia stared at him like the world had lost its mind. This is insane, she whispered. I know, he said immediately. We've been together 2 months. I've loved you longer than that. Your world is dangerous, and I will spend my life keeping it away from you. Nia laughed through tears. You're impossible. Minjay's mouth twitched. Is that a yes? Nia looked at him, really looked. The exhaustion, the devotion, the way he was offering her the most dangerous thing of all, a future. Yes, she whispered. Minjay blinked like he didn't trust his ears. Nia laughed again, crying harder. Yes, I'll marry you. Minjay stood, slid the ring onto her finger with shaking hands, and kissed her like he'd been holding his breath for years. They told Isaiah that night at the Safehouse. Nia walked in holding Minjay's hand. The ring caught the light. Isaiah saw it instantly. You proposed, he said. Minjay nodded. I did. Isaiah looked at Nia. And you said yes. Nia lifted her hand. I did. Isaiah stared at them for a long beat. Then he stood and walked straight to Minjay. For a second, Nia's body tensed. Old instincts. But Isaiah didn't swing. He offered his hand. If you ever hurt her, Isaiah said, calm and deadly, I don't care who you are. I'll find a way. Minjay shook his hand without flinching. If I ever hurt her, Minjay said, you'll have my permission. Isaiah nodded once. Good. Then he turned to Nia. You sure? Nia swallowed. No, but I'm choosing him anyway. Isaiah's eyes softened. Then I'm with you, he said simply. Both of you. Minjay's expression shifted. Something like gratitude, something like relief. Welcome to the family, Isaiah added, aiming it at Minjay. Don't mess this up. Minjay's voice was quiet. I won't. That night they ate takeout on the couch, 3 people pretending to be normal while everything in their lives was anything but. And for the first time, Minjay smiled like it didn't hurt. The wedding was small, not because Minjay couldn't afford a spectacle, because Nia didn't want one. 20 people, backyard terrace, city lights in the distance. Isaiah walked her down the aisle. You okay? He whispered. Nia exhaled. I'm terrified. Isaiah nodded toward the altar. Look at him. Nia did. Minjay stood waiting, eyes locked on her like the whole world had narrowed to one person. Isaiah's voice softened. That man is not playing about you. Nia's throat tightened. I know. When they reached the front, Minjay took her hands like he was handling something sacred. His vows weren't long. They were honest. You brought me back to myself, Minjay said, quietly. And I will spend my life proving you were right to choose me. Nia's voice shook when it was her turn. I built walls for 5 years, she said, and you didn't smash them. You waited until I opened the door. Minjay's eyes shined. When they kissed, the little family they'd built cheered like they'd survived something impossible. Because they had. 2 years later, Nia stood in her second salon location, bigger, brighter, busy, a real empire, built with her hands, her talent, her spine. Minjay walked in during her lunch break, still in a suit, still dangerously calm, but softer now, like he'd learned to live without being on fire all the time. Fully booked, Nia said. Minjay smiled. That's my wife, Isaiah called while they were laughing. He'd landed the internship. Minjay listened quietly, pride in his eyes like Isaiah was his little brother too. Then Nia took a breath. I have news, she said. Minjay's expression sharpened, instantly. What kind of news? Nia placed his hand on her stomach. Good news, she whispered. I'm pregnant. Minjay went completely still. Then his face changed in a way Nia had never seen, pure joy cracking through every scar in him. A baby, he whispered, like it didn't sound real. He pulled her close, forehead against hers, voice shaking. I spent my life thinking I wasn't meant for this, he admitted. A real family. Nia smiled through tears. You are. That night they told Isaiah. He stared at Nia like she'd just announced the sun changed direction. I'm going to be an uncle? You're going to be an uncle, Nia laughed. Isaiah came around the table and hugged her tight. Then he hugged Minjay too. Quick, awkward, but real. Later on the terrace, the city glittered below them. Minjay's hand stayed on Nia's stomach like a promise. Nia leaned into him and whispered, Any regrets? Minjay kissed her temple. Only one, he said. Nia lifted a brow. What? That I didn't walk into your salon sooner. Nia laughed, and for once, just once, she wasn't afraid of the life she'd chosen. Because the most dangerous man in the city wasn't her nightmare. He was her home. And if you want Chapter 2, where love gets tested, enemies get bolder, and Nia learns what it really means to be the wife of a man like Minjay, hit like, subscribe, and comment the moment you knew she was going to say yes.